I go after low competition niches. I set up this site. Because they're low competition, most of the time they're gonna show up in Google. And then I forget about them. I go off about my day and they make me $200 a week. The way I do this is What is going on, guys? Paul James here. Welcome back to another video today. So I've been scrolling through the comments and the questions that have been coming in on my channel, and I did a video a few days ago on how to pick out a niche that isn't going to be super competitive, so that even if you're a beginner, you could come and you could step into it without having to be worried about all these like really expert people coming in and competing with you. So if you didn't get a chance to check out that video, go check it out. But we got a lot of good questions on that video, and I thought I would take the time today and share with you about a site of mine, and I'm gonna put this up on the screen right now for you. This is the total call value that this site brings in about every single week. It's about a weekly basis, so $200 per week. I'll break that down in a little bit more detail in a second here. But the cool part about this is that people were asking, you know, can you actually do this without having a physical location or an address in order to get that site up and get calls coming in? And the answer is yes, and I want to explain to you why and how that works coming up. Alright guys, so before we jump into this video, if you're not subscribed yet, drop below, hit the subscribe button, and tick the bell notification icon, because then I will update you every time I post a new video and you're not going to want to miss this stuff. Also, smash a like on it. Let's get right into it. So, the way that this call volume breaks down on this particular site, you can see we've got 6 answered calls and 6 missed calls, so a total of 12 calls. I would have liked to see that missed calls jump up a little bit more, but it is what it is. Now, 2 of those answered calls were actually duplicate phone calls that I sent this company. So really, I only got to bill them for 4 calls. And I bill this company $50 per phone call that comes in. So if you're a little bit lost and you're not sure what's happening here, I built a website. I took that website and I drove traffic to it. When someone comes to the website, they see a phone number on the website, they dial that phone number. When they do, I get paid $50 a call because I take that phone call and I sell it to a company. So in this case, we're gonna use an example. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen here. I just did a Google search for this. I did roofing contractors in Thiensville, Wisconsin. So presumably someone would be coming in here, they would be searching for a roofing contractor. They'd find my site. And I'm not in this niche, by the way, in the Thiensville area, but I'm just using it as an example for you. So presumably they would come in, they'd find my site, they'd click on it, they'd see my phone number, they'd call it. I make $50 every time they call it. Now, why would a roofing contractor be willing to do an exchange like that? And the answer is very simple, because every time they pay me $50, they're getting put on the phone with a live customer who's got buying intent. They're looking for a roofer. They're probably calling to find out what their price is and what their availability is. Now, for a roofing contractor, that's huge, right? Because roofing contractors, they're installing new roofs for probably anywhere from $10,000 all the way up to like $20,000. I remember when we put the roof on our house, it cost close to $20,000 to do it. Given I do have a big house, 5,000 square feet in this house that I'm in right now, most people probably aren't gonna have a house that big, but even if it's $10,000, even if it's half the size, that's a big ticket item for the roofing contractor. And occasionally, they'll get roof repairs. Those might run anywhere from $500, $1,000. But still, you can see how that trade and that value proposition still makes sense for them if they're trading the $50 for the $500 or $1,000 repair. That's just still gonna make sense. So anyways, that's how that broke down, right? We sent 4 phone calls, charged $50 a piece. Boom, they paid me $200. This all happened in a week span on one of my sites that I had up doing this exact strategy. So the questions that have been coming in are, can you do this if you do not have a physical address? And the answer is yes, you can. And the reason why people are asking that, for those of you who aren't in the know and you've never heard about this before, because the cool part is that the way I do this is I go after low competition niches. I set up this site. Because they're low competition, most of the time they're gonna show up in Google, and then I forget about them. I go off about my day and they make me $200 a week because I did the hard work up front. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying you're gonna get rich quick doing this, but if you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to put in the time and learn, it can be pretty passive in the future for you, which is why I like it, because I can get one site up, I can spend a week building it, and then I can leave it alone and then forget about it and move on to the next site and just keep doing this and doing this and doing this. So the answer is, if you wanted to be positioned here in the Google Map pack, you would need a physical address location. But the cool part is that you don't need to do that. You can still get leads by not putting yourself in here, because the only way to really get a physical address is to work directly with the client or have an address that you can use of your own, whether it be like, you know, a location you own, or if you rent somewhere like a virtual office you could do, or a mailbox rental. But those are prone to, you know, potentially getting your listing shut off if Google finds out that you used like a virtual office. So most of the time, I recommend you just go, and instead of even worrying about the map pack, you just go for the regular organic listings here. Now, there is some trade-off with that. And the trade-off is that the volume's not going to be as huge. So think about this. If I'm getting 4 calls a week, roughly $200, and it was actually a lot more than 4 calls, but 4 calls is what, you know, he sold it for, where we sold to him for. But let's just pretend 4 calls, they answer the 4 calls, you make $200. It's not huge volume. Maybe if you were in the map pack, maybe if you were up here, you'd be getting, you know, 20 calls a week, which would be insane, right? But we're going for easy, and sometimes that's just not possible to go after that if you don't have an address. So what we do is we just do the easy approach. We throw our listing up, we just go after this organic stuff, we forget about the map pack in this case, and we let it passively bring us in a few calls a week. No, it's not going to be huge volume, but it's going to be mostly passive income once it's all set up that we can forget about. So then we spend our time on building out more sites and new sites. Some of them, they're going to be duds. They're not going to make a lot of money, but some of them are going to be winners, and those are going to be the ones that really, you know, bring in a few calls a week consistently, like the one that I showed you here on the screen. This is one that brings in income for us consistently. It consistently brings us in about 4 good calls a week. Now, the reason why this works is because, you know, just quite honestly, not everyone is going to, you know, go off of the map pack. The majority of people probably will, right? They're probably going to go here, but there's going to be some stragglers. There's always going to be stragglers that, you know, don't look at that and they come down and they drop down and they go after here. I mean, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like, have you ever gone to a McDonald's in town and right next door is Burger King? It's like this in my town. Right next door is Burger King. They always have an empty parking lot pretty much. And McDonald's is super busy. But once in a blue moon, you know, people are going to not feel like waiting in line for McDonald's, or maybe they just like Burger King. You know, there's going to be people out there that just like Burger King. Comment below what you like, by the way. I'm curious. Burger King or McDonald's? But there's going to be some stragglers who are going to go over to Burger King, and Burger King is going to get some business. They're going to catch some of that residual, right? It's kind of like that, and that's kind of the same concept we're using here. Well, it's not going to get as much traffic, it's just much easier. It's much easier to just put yourself in a prime location where you're going to catch the stragglers, but you don't have to do as much work. And that's my mindset behind it, and that's why I go after this kind of stuff. That's why it's easier. That's why it's not as competitive, because to someone who's super experienced and they're like SEO gods, I guess you could say, they're not going to even bother with this stuff. You know, they're going to go after the higher competitive areas, and that's fine. We're going after volume and we're going after low traffic. So anyways, that is my take on it. I'm going to put a link in the description of this video, and if I get enough interest at that link, what you can do is you can go to that link, you can just kind of basically raise your hand, enter in your email address and say, hey, Paul, I'm interested in this stuff, I like this stuff. And if I get enough interest, you know, maybe I'll put together some additional training on this for you guys, but only if I get like enough interest in it, because I don't want to waste my time doing it if, you know, no one's interested in it. So yeah, that is basically the video here. That is how I'm making $200 a week without a physical address. And to answer your question, yes, it can be done without a physical address. You just won't get as much traffic, but that's okay because it's easier, less saturated, lower barrier to entry for someone who's new coming into this or a beginner. And yeah, I like it. It works out good. So smash a like on this video if you enjoyed it. If you're not subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe. Tick the bell notification icon so that I can update you with my next video. And hit that link in the description and go check out the I'm interested link. And let me know if you're interested in more training. But anyways, guys, I will see you in another video. I am Paul James. Let me know your questions below. Peace out.